Hi, guys. We are back with the first podcast of 2023. I could not be more excited to welcome CRAY to the Lizzy Jane podcast. We had such a wonderful conversation. She was such a joy to talk to. What a genuine, down to earth human being. For those of you who are not familiar with CRAY, and I mean, who isn't familiar with CRAY? She is an amazing artist, producer, DJ. She works with some of the largest brands across the world. She's a Twitch streamer. She's done partnerships with Animal Crossing and different makeup brands and so much more. It was so amazing to finally connect with her. I've looked up to her for a really long time. So to be able to sit down and talk transparently about the music industry and her life and the ups and downs and the journeys and the relationships and everything in between has been absolutely amazing. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I did. Don't forget, we are in 2023. We are introducing new series to the podcast, like Discover Denver. We're going to have on Denver artists and DJs and painters and designers. And I'm so excited to roll that out for you guys. We have some of the biggest guests coming on the podcast this year. I can't imagine what guests would be here 2 years ago. And to start this off with CRAY for the 2023 year, I just am so grateful and thankful to every one of you guys who come back weekly to listen to the podcast and check it out. Don't forget, you can view this podcast ad-free, bloopers, exclusive content, and so much more on my Patreon at www.patreon.com/thisisLizzyJade. I'm posting a little snippet from our conversation that did not make it into the final cut. And CRAY is just so adorable and cute. And let's just get into the episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You are tuning into the Lizzy Jade podcast with special guest CRAY, and I will see you next week.
The show today was brought to you by Vitaplur E-Boost Gum. With no pill to take or powders to mix, Vitaplur E-Boost Gum is a first-of-its-kind energy rave supplement that provides magnesium, electrolytes, and antioxidants while you chew. Vitaplur is the perfect complement to my active lifestyle, whether it's at the festival, on the road touring, or hitting the gym. Chew Vitaplur and dance with confidence. Use code LizzyJane for 10% off any order.
Well, CRAY, thank you so much for joining me today. We are here in Denver at Church Nightclub for your 3-show weekend run. Yeah. You had DC yesterday, Denver tonight, Arizona tomorrow. Oh my gosh. How do you feel?
I feel like this isn't going to be the last time I do that.
Yeah. You're done like killing yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing more of the alt band stuff, just way less touring, and it's really hard for me sensory-wise, and 3 shows in a row, it's too much to buy.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't even know what's going on.
It's very hard to conceptualize when I feel like you're like fully in it. And pre-COVID, I feel like you were fully in it.
I shouldn't complain pre-COVID because like all you knew was to go and push yourself, and then everyone else is doing it, so you're doing it too. And then COVID made you force stop and reevaluate and rethink about what you want to do and which like
so much valuation.
I'm doing a lot of other stuff like brands and like Twitch and other things. So like when I come to a show yesterday, no sleep to the airport to make it to a brand event for 4 hours today, to then go to the show, it's just a little too much. I think
it's a lot.
I'm a zombie, but the show. Once the show happens, it's like all the bliss and the hard work pays off, and that hour, is like, this is why I do what I do. But all the pre-hours is like off for me.
Yeah. And I think that's what's like so crazy about the transparency of like this lifestyle, and why I look to people like your boyfriend Keizo, like Subtronics, like, all of these guys who are like A-list acts that are doing this 24/8 and like not completely burning out. And
I think there's a lot of factors that come to play in like that lifestyle, and that like I look at him and I admire him so much, and like he truly shines on stage. Like he loves what he does. He loves every inch of it, every moment of it. Even like the hours before the show, he's like so excited. And it's the opposite for me. I kept blaming myself and thinking like, why am I not like this? I just think it's just that's hard for me. And like, while I love to write music, I like to sing, I like to do a ton of different things, and I'm a homebody, and like the 3 show in a row is just too hard, but the 1 show, a month, that's something that I'm really excited about. Like I just have to do it differently, and I have to stop comparing myself, because some of these people are born to do this. I feel that in my soul, and so like that's why I hate it. It's like Jesse and all those guys who like just thrive, and I'm like, I have to stop comparing myself and understand that we're all different artists and we're all gonna do different stuff. Like especially, I had to swallow the hard pill that in fan space it's not a touring garage renewal, and there's no money there. So like I was getting gigs, I was paying my rent and DJ for 1 hour on my USB, going home, and then I went to, you get maybe 1 live show a year, you're gonna lose money. You have to buy your band and your voice, and everything has to go, and then it's so much more and so much less. So it's like, I thought that I was maybe failing, but it's just completely different in that space. And so I've understood that DJs is such a niche little bubble.
It's like this unique, eclectic thing. And I am going through literally what you are doing right now, where like I come from band life and like DJing is so different, and I love it, and I love it, love it, love it. But I feel like it's like almost like not where I was like, I have to have like this other creative outlet where I'm able to like do stuff that creatively fulfills me, but you also have to make money. So it's like I feel like how the way that you've approached your career has almost set you up for this like alleyway where if you just started as an alt act, especially before TikTok,
I wouldn't have made it.
I mean, who is making it as a band right now? Unless you're blowing up on TikTok, your shit's going viral, or you're signing your label life away.
Like,
yes,
it's so long, which I'm like, just not. And so like, I totally feel that pressure, and it's just a crazy industry we're in. Like every day, I'm reminded of how blessed what I am, but also how much it takes from you.
Yes.
And how you need to really pause and remember why you're doing this, what you're doing it for. Because it's so easy to just become the tutorial and just kind of lose sight
and get lost.
And like that's what I felt. So like I don't DJ much anymore because the music I make, it doesn't reflect electronic dance music. So I think to this point where I was like DJing, but making music that doesn't fit DJing.
Like how do you adapt my music to this? Right. Like do I make VIPs or bootleg?
I was like a fraud. I'm like, I feel like I'm a really good disc jockey, a really good DJ, not have in the room. I love that they make it all party. Yeah. I was like, I'm not playing my music. It might be with hills. I have to change something.
Yeah.
Like I have to feel like we're greater purpose and just get bad, which I love.
Yeah.
I just about your time.
Yes.
Sometimes it's like you sit at home in your bed and you're like, is this instilling enough?
And you have built like such a community too, where I feel like whether it's Twitch or from the brand sponsorships or everything from like Animal Crossing to everything in between, like you have such a community, which I think right now, whether it's a startup or you're an artist or whatever, like building that community is key.
Yeah.
That I do feel like just listening to you talk before listening to your music, you feel like you do have this like ode to your like fans and supporters, where I do feel like the music that you're making now and the covers, like the Miss You, like all of that stuff, like people really fuck with it. And I think if people fuck with the person and they really ride for them, they're gonna fuck with what they love and with what they do. And it takes a lot of courage too, to not just be like, let me get the bag. Because I feel like that mind thing where you're like, what if I just keep doing what I'm doing, and if I'm just gonna do what I do and play bass music and bass house and play killer sets and release tracks every so here, like would I be higher up than where I am now? But would I be happy?
Right. And like, look, I date a really big DJ. If people told me I was crazy to not just follow it around and live and just, like it's just, I'm right there.
Yeah.
I'm on a show and he loves my music, he loves music. Anytime I want to be on a show, you're on a show. And I felt like it just wasn't who I was. And
you're a real artist too.
Right. I felt like it wasn't real to me because like I was being a disc jockey. I was DJing 70% of people's music, because I made alt rock and that doesn't fit in a set. So I was making edits kind of, but sometimes it's hard to make actually but edit out of rock. I'm just like feeling kind of like, I don't know, is this what my fans deserve? Or, I love DJing, it's so much fun, and like I'm down to put the party on.
Yeah.
So like longevity wise, I want people who are a fan of my music to hear my music from me in a way that I would want.
It's the longer path.
Yeah.
Shows
it's
it.
definitely the forward path, but I feel like you're right, like having my band, I'm so lucky to have such diehards. I feel like just the way I've kind of grow up through social media really helped like build my following in like a really organic way, and I'm really honest and I'm really open, so I feel like it's collected this really good group of people. So I feel so lucky to be able to switch from EDM to alt and have my fans kind of be okay with it. When a lot of people with an issue like your girl does everything, you're starting from the bottom, why are you doing this, why are you doing this? So I was like, is that just what I
and it's hard when it's not, and it's finding that like happy life balance, I think, where like you still can get your bag, but you can still feel fulfilled.
Like, why am I doing a Trojan ad? I'm getting the bag.
Yes.
Well, I also love sex. I love talking about that type of stuff. But people always ask me, like, what are you doing that Trojan ad for? To pay my rent.
It's like, hello.
That's why.
And also just as an artist, like you're like freelance as fuck for a really, really long time. And you've done that in so many other alleyways, especially through like growing your social media. Now in a time where social media plays such a huge part, if not more than ever, a very influential part in an artist's like growth and journey career, and to like how they could be exposed, like how do you, like what do you owe to like building your social media and how you've done that?
I feel like it's even a question. I was talking to my therapist about the other day because I was like questioning myself. Like, I'm not a musician. I was not a core musician. You know, I played a little bit of piano and sang a little bit by choir in high school, but I never was like, music is my dream. You know, I worked in the music industry as a kid when I was 19 in Canada. I was working at Guess's Girl. I was the, bottle service girl. I loved that. And I loved being around music. I loved being around the DJs. I loved it. But I never even thought that it would be something I would do.
Yeah.
And so the fact that like I stumbled across this journey, I feel like what I was really good at was social media. It became really easy to be. So when I was at home and like, I'm not a producer, I produced 4-track like trap beats back in the day to start, but I didn't love it. I didn't feel the connection to production like all my peers did. And so during that time, I'd write some music, write some songs. I also was like, what can I do other than it? Because I don't really love doing this production stuff. Maybe I'll just work with my social media.
Yeah.
I'll start gaming. Maybe I'll start connecting. Maybe I'll think that I thought in my head that gaming was be big one day, and I was like, when I was starting now, I love gaming. Like I started thinking and doing that stuff on the side because I couldn't. Music really wasn't paying the bills. I had an exchange show for $200.
Yeah.
Once every couple of months. Like, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Very up at zero.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't really do music with nothing else. So I might as well just try to make it or shit and see what sticks. And now I'm in this like, I'm like an influencer, gamer, DJ, artist.
But you know how few people are that? And like, that's the amazing thing is I think a lot of people have, I think everyone like in the world has like crazy ideas, but it's like, are you gonna put the things in line to bring them to action, to actually happen in reality? And I think the best things too, when I talk to like aspiring artists that haven't necessarily like in their definition like made it, like they're on like maybe their first tours, they just got that signed to an agency.
You never make it.
Yeah, like you never feel like
less 1%.
you've like made it.
You know what I mean? It's so rare. So like people always ask me to like, you made it into them. It doesn't look like I have. So I had to always sit down and go, Cheney, shut the fuck up. Stop complaining. The fact that you got 2 fans, 3 plays, and think Lollapalooza. He was toured Japan with Skrillex, who does such cool shit. Love yourself and be proud of who you are, but it's not your self-worth, There's so much more to the picture, and you have to realize that every day, like, I have a 6-month crisis, as most artists do, where it's like, I'm doing a real job, what am I doing? I'm 29, but what am I doing? I feel like that's just how it is. Unless you're with tippy top.
And again, you never stop feeling that way.
Never. So I always tell people, like, you'll chase that feeling for so long.
Yeah, and
It's like wins, count those little wins.
The little wins matter so much, and like, it's so hard because we're in a lifestyle, especially in our generation, of comparison. But when you can try your hardest to let go of that, I know it helps. Now I'm in that currently where it's like, hey, just like stay on your own path, like try and do this.
See here, there's enough cake for everybody. I always say that. I know, and women specifically are pitted against each other all the time.
Oh my god.
So
well, there's only one of us.
I know.
Remember, there's only one of us. There's only one of us. Yeah.
Token. And I feel like a lot of like, outsiders and British people just don't realize it because they're not women. They don't understand what it's like, and they're like, it's not that bad. Like, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. It's still pretty bad. It's been pretty bad.
It was way worse when I started doing.
I can't imagine.
It was slim pickings and like was really competitive and mean and like brutal. Like the guy fans, like all I got was shit on. She didn't make her music. She's cool. She just think. Because that was like the first thing I did. If I did one thing on the internet, I got attacked for without even people giving the benefit of doubt. None. And now it's so much better, but it's still like we're no erasing that.
Yep.
And I'm still bitter. I'm so sensitive.
Yeah.
That was the whole mystery of me growing up. I didn't quite our way here.
And women completely still have to fight their way there. But it's amazing to see more women in roles of power, whether it's agencies, A&Rs, managers, all of the above. We need more, period. And that's going to feed to more women artists being brought up 100%. And like, with what you've done by going through these different alleyways, I think when I do talk to aspiring artists or aspiring streamers or whatever, they have this very dictated kind of path that they're supposed to follow. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to get signed to this agency, and then this is supposed to happen. And it never really happens that way. But I think a lot of people close their minds off to other opportunities of whether it's a financial income stream or another way to reach new people. Like Twitch has become such a stronghold for you. And I feel like you're incredibly close to your Twitch community. Is that like, do you feel like that's like a safe space for you?
Totally. We did Secret Santa this year, and we all like love it. We all our gifts. It was so funny, and I'm just so thankful. I feel like the gaming community is so special, so special. So to everybody, like the diehard fans who have my tattoos, who come to my EDM shows, who don't like EDM, are my gamer fans. Those are people I can trust and I can count on. I feel like I can just be really honest. They're just used to my candidness.
Yeah.
Sometimes music, I feel like it's really loose in the fans. Like it's like Ariana Grande, like as an example, like she's so far away from. I couldn't even.
You're untouchable.
Yeah, I couldn't even like relate. I'm like, I don't even know what that to me to ruin you, but hopefully, what I'm trying to do with me, like I'm just like you.
Yeah.
We're all the same. Like every day, I'm so thankful to be here. But I work my ass off. Like I want everyone to know that you can do it. I did it. I mean, anyone can do it.
It's really just taking those first steps. I always say, like, the sooner you start, the sooner you stop sucking. So, like, the more that you just become involved with your...
You're right. Things, yeah. I always feel like insecure sometimes that I didn't follow the correct path of being an artist. So, like, I did things very backwards and I just chose so many different avenues. So I love so many different things. And a lot of people told me that was my downfall, but like, to me, that was my strength.
Yeah.
And so I just want to be happy. And I know that for myself, I burn out a lot and to make one thing. And so I know that if I would have stuck 100% with being a DJ, I would have hated it.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting to the point where I'm 29, I'm like, my priorities are different.
Yeah.
I love community shows and so special. Like, the travel and the, like, sustain me life for me as just who I am. It's so hard.
Yeah.
To, like, be function, I guess.
Like, I love getting up, like, getting cute, putting sweatpants on, getting coffee, and then sitting in my studio all day.
That and be able to choose your day to silence. Like,
yeah.
I had no sleep. I mean, also, like, it's like DJ culture. If it was different, if it was like daytime stuff, like, look, I fly East Coast at 7 in the morning. When I get there, time zone's different. My set's at 1 a.m. It's 12:30. My bedtime's like 9, 10. So like I'm always thinking, and then it ends at 2:30, and then I have to go to the hotel room, and then I have to shower, and then go back to the airport. So I have to make it to the other country, right? No sleep. So that's what I feel like I'm on, So it's like that lifestyle is just so hard on the body,
yeah,
and so hard on the mental. And I go back to the empty hotel room, and I'm kind of just like there, and like I'm like sitting in silence, like oh my gosh, there was so much, I exerted so much energy, and now immediately again, no recharge. That's really hard for me.
Very high highs and very low lows,
exactly.
And I think a lot of people. Like, this is literally why I do this. So people, like, see this transparency layer of, like, we're all human. And especially, too, with, like, now that you've developed these other parts of your life, like what you said earlier, this isn't just you coming to DJ a show. You're wanted by brands who are here to do meet and greets and sponsorship deals and this and that. And, like, when you do take the time to tour, it's going to be a full... You're running for about 3 days with absolutely no sleep, no energy, no rejuvenation, no mental wellness, no physical eating wellness. Like,
sick, don't care if you're tired, don't care if you're sad, you're going.
Yeah.
You're going.
Yeah. And that, like, not only, like, you have, like, a dedication to your fans to, like, have to show up, but it's, like, also, like, financial, and you've done this, and you invested this, and it's just... It's definitely a lot, and I think finding that balance takes such a long time. And like,
it takes forever.
Yeah, forever.
That's always changing, I still love going on the road. It still is hard for me, but I felt so much excitement when I was making trap music. But then when I started not making trap music and realizing that, I kind of felt a little empty. I don't know why. When I was DJing, I just felt kind of like, I wasn't as passionate. I didn't feel close to it. I know that, like, when I look at, Maiden, who is so passionate and so driven and so, like, his path is written to the stars. Like, his path is it's already done. You know what I mean? Like, it's really written to the knife for count. Like, I want to feel that way about something.
Yeah.
And don't feel it about this. And so, what am I needing to do? What do I want to do? I just wanted to use my voice. I wanted to write. I wanted to sing. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to follow that. And I'm not going to listen to all the freaking noise of the industry. And
it's just the industry. Do you know how small the industry is compared to the consumers? It's like EDM Twitter, where, like, everyone's like, oh, the world's ending. And it's like, no, this is 2% of people who go to shows and go to festivals and support music and listen to music. So tell me about the live CRAY chapter. Like, tell me about I know you've already released a good amount of live stuff. You do live shows here and there. What are you working on now for the next chapter of Fried Live?
Tons of singles. I'm in a label deal almost out, so that's been a really big struggle for me.
Yeah.
Because I signed it with a team that didn't really have my back, and it's with a label that necessarily is bad, but just doesn't fit what I was doing. And I told them, I'm doing all that they did more electronic music. I felt kind of like a little bit stuck there. Now we're on the same page, and they're loving out to my alternative stuff, have release dates and everything. So I'm really excited for all the music to come out. But like I said, I'm not a typical artist. I don't think of I hate the PR plan that we're spun. I hate the give me 50 songs, a year plan. And for me, that's just a bore. It's never.
I don't think that works for a lot.
That's how people do it.
Well, that's how producers do it. Producers give you a folder of 100 songs. We're picking 12 of this. We're doing this. One song a month
for the year. You can't do anything else. I just feel like I'm constantly changing and evolving. When I write music, I want to be able to conceptualize it, write it. If I love it, I want to put it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to plan it for next year. I don't want to plan big PR. I really just want to put the music out. I believe it will do what it does.
And it's so sad when you write something and you love it, and then you listen back to it when you've grown, and you're like, I don't love it anymore.
I'm over it. Yeah, exactly. I'm just
I've listened to it a million times. Fucking done. No one's heard it.
Never the type of person to listen to my music. I think it's totally different. I was a Canadian. Certain songs I listen to for nostalgia purposes, totally. I'm not crazy, but I'm never just what's put on my music.
Yeah,
work. Once I put it out, I'm kind of that.
I let go of it.
Social songs to me too.
Yeah,
always personal. So it's kind of want to close that chapter with us. It's not for an effort.
Personal is the best though. That's you. That's why music's so amazing, is because you're writing a part of your life, and you're releasing it to someone to adapt to their own life
and perceive it their own way. So interesting how I've learned that so much in this industry. Every tweet, every word they say, the picture you put out, people perceive you a different way than you think you want to be perceived. I think I'm being perceived this way, and I realized it's not. It's the complete way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you saw that tweet that I did so differently than what I thought that meant.
Yeah.
It's just crazy having to social media is crazy.
Social media is crazy. It's a very love-hate relationship, and I'm sure you feel. I don't know. Some people love social media, and I do too. I think the walls that it breaks down are amazing. It's very comparable to Twitch, where I had never streamed. I was one of those people where when touring stopped, I was like, well, I guess I'm buying a webcam and I'm streaming and we're doing it. But then it's oh, you have somebody from Asia who happened to hop into your room when you were doing a production stream or playing video games, and now we're friends, and now you're buying my merch and all this stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah,
social media is crazy. It's so powerful. That's why sometimes when I see people criticize social media, I do believe there is a talk to be had about how bad social media is, but there also has to be a way for us to be very gracious, because it's creating our career.
Yes.
So when I don't ever want people to think I'm oh, social media is so stupid. They see me on it every day. Really, it's not to be. It's a job. It's something I love to do. So I always want to be honest about that. And there's such a darkness to social media, and that's why I always talk about it. And I want people to know that I think this balanced everything. I think with social media, I think there's such beautiful things that come with social media, connection all over the world. That's where I met Hayden. That's where I met hello.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm it's so beautiful. And also you can put music out and just shit on the wall, we used to throw shit on SoundCloud and go whatever. Hope for the best.
I miss those days.
And we post each other, guys.
Yeah.
And so that's so beautiful. But then there's also the dark spot where it's consuming and vague and dry.
Where it feels like a job. You're is this me?
People dating's bullshit, and music can't be the bullshit. And it's crazy to see the evil, the good, the clean, So I'm always believe in balance, till everyone's balanced.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And speaking of balance, going into you are, I would say, one of the few very public couples in the electronic dance music scene. You and Hayden are obviously a fucking power couple. You guys bought your first house this year, right? Is it in California? You're still around? Okay, amazing.
California.
Amazing. And the dog and your life, and you guys have built a life together, and you guys have been together forever, but I'm sure there's been ups and downs. I'm sure there's been balance about having a public-sized relationship. I know there's a few others, but I do feel you guys have such this balance. Do you guys feel you have a private life? Is there times where you're I need us time, I need me time?
I think I don't think like it's so funny like, the hate I know hate and I know Kezo.
Yeah.
You know, in social media, Kezo is a very small part of hate, and he has so much depth. And like I cry whenever I talk about it because we've been together so long. You're right.
Yeah.
And we're honestly when we first met, when we were both immature and going through it and not going to therapy, we felt this really weird urge where he was like, I want to, you know, I'm going to clean you on social media. Like, I want to show the world. And I was very much like, let's be private. I've dated other person. Or like, I kind of want to make sure I don't get shit on by everyone. Was.
You're the one who takes this downfall. Let's be real.
To be honest. And so, and I already had the like, you're dating him for his clout. Like, I had any interest in bass music. So it's just like, I was really wary.
Yeah.
He was like, no, it's going to be fine. And we kind of clashed on that for a minute where he was like, we're going to post. I want to post. And I was like, I don't want to. And then we switched to another way where I was like, why are you supposed to be enough? And he was like, I don't want to post anymore. And we felt this pressure from fans that it wasn't fun anymore. It started getting like, it started feeling obligation-y almost. Like we weren't even like in love. Like you're almost like working through social media. Like he felt like we had to do things on social media and the fans would be like bad if we didn't post enough. But like, are you guys together anymore? That's so hard. Oh my God. At one point I got suffocated.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was going through his own internal battles on as a human being, and I was going through mine, and he was kind of rising up in his stardom, and I was kind of just starting, and we got to this point where I was like, I think we both said we need to break up.
Yeah.
And it was so hard, obviously, we both knew it wasn't going to be over.
Yeah.
Say it now. But I was like, never talking to you again. And we took those 6 months to, like, really find ourselves, you know, like, those months were so important to me as a woman to be able to be on my own and be strong and be like, I don't need a man. I was taught to need a man and to find a husband and get married and to serve. And I was like, I need to get out of that. So I went to so much therapy and like learned so much about how beautiful it is to be an independent person and like how much I love my space. I love being alone. And he did the same thing, weirdly enough. And I wrote this EP about him and basically shit on him, the EP. And I'm just like so brokenhearted. And the day the EP came out, he texted me, be like, I listened to it, it's so beautiful. Like, even though he was so hurt by it, obviously, and making me like, he was like, it's so beautiful. He called me that night and he was like, baby, let's go. And I was like, if you go to therapy, I'm gonna just give this a shot. Went to therapy. Everything started clicking, you know, he started learning about each other's traumas, each other's triggers, you know, like on the road with music, everything, and you just start.
There's so many factors in your relationship. Yeah.
And now we're at this point where it's like, it's just like it. Yeah, we just got to that point where it's just like it, you know, and we did things kind of a little backwards, like we got the dog and 3 cats in a house before we got married, and people always ask why, and it's just, we're on our own, we're just doing our thing.
Do your own thing. You're the only one to be happy.
No, like, I don't know, we're so happy.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier. And now we're at this point where like we love sharing our lives with everyone has worked. We see the most incredible messages from fans be like, you guys give us so much hope by talking about therapy and breaks and honesty. And, you know, like I see all the time fans create celebrity couples.
Yeah.
And like, I know a lot about the back door. We know that a lot of it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, I told me, and I'm like, we can't come off like that. Like, I want people to know that we did break up.
Yeah.
And why we did, and why it's okay, and why you need to work on each other. You need to fight. You need to go through those things. I don't want to come on with like nothing happened but perfect. It's not true. And I don't want to show people that's the lifestyle. It's not real. Because they're have their own relationship and go, maybe I'm too sweet. So that's why I'm so overly honest about it. It's really too honest. But now it's like fluid. Now it's like, you know.
But you know what? I wish like sometimes I just wish artists like knew the power that they kind of have in their hands to influence people in the right way or the wrong way. We see it happen both ways all the time. And like that level of transparency, I don't know what it was about COVID that broke down this fourth wall. But I think it showed a lot of people that, like, a lot of artists are, in fact, human. We're, in fact, not David Guetta on the rooftop with a Ferrari and girls. You know?
Every single person, any influence is a human being and will make mistakes and probably things you will not like about them. Like you do with any human being. Oh my gosh, things you love you, things you hate. And there's never, you're free of these pedestals. It's just going to hurt you.
And it's so much pressure, too, when you, like, feel that, especially when you have momentum behind your project. To feel that pressure, and like, I can't fuck up, especially as a woman. You feel like every eye's on you, and you're like, okay, like, if I mess up, like this is, you kind of feel like it's a live or die situation for like your career and like your journey and your project. And I feel like the more people that are just as transparent as possible, the more it's just going to help.
I think it's help people. And that's what I mean. Like my mission on life, I feel like my purpose, like the therapy funniness, my value is to love and be loved and to help and help. You know, that's been my mission, and that's why I feel the most growth, the most power is not helping people. I sat and I looked at social media and I got so sick.
Yeah.
Of like, I started muting people, not following people. I was literally looking at this lifestyle, just like perfect picture, perfect couple, money, perfect. And then it goes like, it's even worse. Right? I'm like, being here crying at 500 square foot apartment right now. You know, I'm like, this is fuck. Our whole entire livelihood was gone. All my money was like, I had no money. Like I started panicking. I started applying for those jobs. So I was like, I had no backup.
Yeah.
You know, we all had to go through this. But then I kept seeing on social media, perfect, traveling, money. And I was like, I cannot turn into this. I refuse to be like this. I don't care if it's for better or for worse. I'm going to say the shit that's ugly.
Yeah.
I just put it out there and hopefully it resonates with people.
Because it's real. You're seeing 0.05% of these people's lives. And like this conversation obviously has been super public too, but it's like, I praise you for like what you've done, because I think it's influenced a shit ton of people. And I think it's also influenced a shit ton of girls of like, hey, like, you can do this and you don't have to be the token female, and you can find your own lane, whether it's through a podcast or streaming or running a label or being a fucking boss. Yeah.
Anything. There's so many different labels. I always tell people like, do 3 different things.
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. Thank you so much for your time today. Before I go,
Yes.
have you just been like Cray forever? Is that where you got your name from? Or is that like a nickname? Okay.
My initials are C-Ray.
Oh my God.
My family used to call me Cray since a kid.
It's fate.
And then people were like, that should Cray, like you're crazy. I'm like, sure.
Sure.
You know?
It worked.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.